get on board. Just 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 get on board. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
I thought I might tell you, but I really thought that I might tell them about this marvelous hike that I took the other day.
It was going to be a spring hike, wasn't it?
I was thinking it was going to be a spring hike. We've had sunny days. We started planting our garden. I was all set for spring. But did you know that up in the mountains there is still snow?
I wouldn't have known if you hadn't told me.
There is snow on the ground, and there's snow on the trees, and during the nighttime when it rained down here, there was more snow falling up there.
So what did you see on your spring-winter hike?
Well, I saw actually some really marvelous animal tracks in the snow, and I wanted to show them to you, and I wondered if maybe you could help us, and maybe you could help to figure out what animals they might have been.
Okay. I like that idea. Show us what you've got.
Well, let's see. Now, the first ones I saw were very small, but there were lots of them in little lines all over the place. Let's show the kids the picture. Now, what do you notice about these tracks?
Very, very small, you say?
They're very small. Like those are maybe the size of a penny or a dime.
Do you think that could be like a chipmunk or a squirrel?
That's kind of what I was thinking. And I see the big toes. So they have sort of long, pointy toes.
Yeah.
But they're really small and close together. I thought maybe a chipmunk.
Okay.
Okay. And
I can picture a chipmunk running like that.
Can't you imagine? And there were lots and lots of them. And I know there's lots of chipmunks here in Vermont. So then I saw these tracks.
Oh, I know what those are. And I bet our friends know what those are too.
I bet they could guess. These ones were far apart, and they all looked just like that with two hooves. What were you guessing?
I was thinking a deer.
I was thinking a deer, too. They were too small to be a moose.
Okay.
So I'm thinking deer.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Now, these tracks were also all over the place, and they were always in a long line like this, and these were actually almost as big as my hand. Not quite.
Oh. Wow.
These are big tracks.
Okay, so those three toes looks like a bird.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing turkey. Would you think turkey?
I would think so. They're the big birds that live around here, right?
Yes.
And they would be probably running instead of flying.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's see. I also saw some tracks that looked like this. And it's a little bit hard to see, but you know what? What animal does it remind you of?
Oh, what does it look like to you?
Well, this reminds me a little bit of like a dog or a cat.
Oh,
paw.
That's all one paw.
It's all one paw. You see the toes and the pad of the paw. But it was almost like in between the size of a dog and a cat.
Well, can I ask you a question? Were there any human tracks near it?
That was the funny thing. If it were a dog like somebody's pet, I would think they would be going along the trail.
Right.
But these tracks started on one side of the trail and came all the way across and off in the distance on the other side, and you can see them there walking away.
Okay. If I had to guess, I think a fox.
I thought so too, and I thought that was really cool. I don't see foxes in real life very often.
No, not usually.
That was kind of exciting. Now these, I thought I recognized.
Is that a little rabbit?
I was thinking a rabbit. I see the four paws together, and you can see the back ones are in front of the front ones, right? Because that's how they bound.
Yes, they bring those back legs right around in front, so you can tell which direction he's going in. His back legs are in front of his front legs.
Ah, he brings them around the front. It reminds me of when the kids will pretend to be a rabbit or pretend to be a frog, and they put their feet in front of their hands and hop.
Yep. Yes, I think so too.
Okay, I have one more to show you.
How big was that?
Well, let me show you.
Whoa. It's as big as your hand.
It's as big as my hand, and you can see that it has claws on those toes. Here's a picture of them
Whoa.
walking away.
You can see the back ones and the front ones. That's a real waddling kind of animal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a bear.
I think it's a bear, too.
Wow.
It's amazing to think I was standing in the same place as a bear on that day.
It is amazing.
Well, there's one more thing that I saw when I was on the trail, and I wanted to show it to you.
Okay.
What I saw was this beautiful handmade pair of mittens.
Really?
Mittens that somebody must have dropped and lost there. And it reminded me of a story.
Okay. The mitten, right?
The mitten! Would you tell that story?
I could tell that story. I'm not sure if I remember it all. We could tell it using your animals.
I thought that would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, let's tell the story, but let's pretend that it's actually about us. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Do I look ready?
You look ready.
Okay.
Tell me this story.
Okay. So this is a story about a girl named Heron. Not this Heron, a different Heron. Okay. This is a story about a girl named Heron who wanted a pair of mittens made yarn as white as the snow.
Oh.
And her mother did not want to make those mittens. She said, if you drop one in the snow, you'll never find them.
That would be a problem.
But Heron promised to take good care of her mittens. So her mother made those mittens and gave them to her. And finally, one day, Heron went out for a walk in the snow wearing her white mittens. It wasn't a very cold day, though. So she tucked the mittens into her pocket. And before long, one of those mittens fell down into the snow. And without even noticing it, Heron just walked on. But somebody else came along. A cottontail rabbit, chilly from bounding through the snow, spied that mitten and decided to snuggle right inside. She was feeling very warm and very proud of herself and just about to fall asleep, when who should come sniffing along but a fox. This fox was feeling kind of drowsy after eating a great big meal, and he thought that mitten would be a good place to take a nap. So he asked if he could come on in and join her. She was not so sure, but she took one look at those glinty teeth, and she slid right down to the bottom of the mitten, making lots of room for the fox. So the fox and the rabbit were cozy in the mitten, when along came a wild-eyed turkey. She was exhausted because she'd been running since Thanksgiving. She wanted to get into the mitten. She needed a place to rest, and the others just moved right over and let her in. She did not seem to be in the mood to argue, so they let her come in. Next, who should come sauntering along but a buck, a big deer with beautiful antlers. He walked up to that mitten. He looked down at that cozy mitten. And he just kept on walking. Let's not be ridiculous. He couldn't get into the mitten.
There was no way.
There's no way. But along came, lumbering along, a bear.
What kind of bear?
I think a black bear.
Okay.
He came waddling along through the woods. He started to ask if he could get in, and the others started to tell him no, but he was not one to take no for an answer. He went in back end first. He just backed himself into that mitten. He squished and squeezed and pushed until he got himself all the way into the mitten. And the animals were scrunched and jostled around as they fit themselves all around each other, finding a cozy spot in the mitten.
All of them.
Yes, this mitten was stretched to many times its original size. And finally, They all settled down for a cozy rest when who should come scampering along, carrying a nut? A little chipmunk. He didn't even ask to get in. He climbed up onto the tip of that bear's nose and made himself comfortable and started to nibble his nut. His tail was swishing around with excitement. It swished and tickled that nose of the bear. The bear tried to wiggle it off, but there was nothing he could do. When all of a sudden, the tickling became too much, and he went, ah, 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 choo! He sneezed. All the animals came flying out of the mitten. All of the animals were scattered all over the snow, and the mitten went flying up into the air. Well, Heron was coming along and could see her door up ahead. She reached back to see if her mittens were there, and there was only one. What was she to do when up from the sky she could see her mitten sailing right through the air, where she snatched it, brought it into the house, and tucked it by the fire to dry. And that's the end of that story.
You know, when I hear the end of that story, I'm imagining those two mittens hanging by the fire to dry. And I am just wondering if they both still look the same size as they did before.
I'm imagining the mother in that story being very puzzled about having one normal-sized mitten and one enormously stretched out mitten.
That's a good story.
Well, you know, we like the book by Jan Brett.
We do.
Called The Mitten, which is based on an old Ukrainian folktale. And I'm glad we had a chance to retell it here for you today with our silly hats and scarves on. I hope we're not going to have any more wintry games or stories or activities. I'm ready for spring here.
That's what I'm hoping too. I am ready for the warmth and the sun. I'm ready for springtime. What about you?
Haven't you got a song for the sun?
I think that I do. Since we've shed our winter clothes, do you think we should put on our sun hats?
I think I can find one somewhere. Like this?
I feel more ready than ever.
Okay. Heron, how can you tell it's all right when it just seems like the same thing every day. It seems like things aren't changing sometimes.
Well, it's not all right, but I've been trying to notice and pay attention to things that are changing, things
Okay.
that are growing, things that are blooming, things that are getting better. And that helps me to know that even though it's not all right all the time, there's lots of things that are all right and that are actually getting better and better.
So life goes on.
Spring is coming.
Spring is coming.
Flowers are blooming. Things are changing. Seasons are turning.
Yes. I could hear spring peepers singing outside.
I noticed that. I think as I go for walks and even just put my head out the window this week, that's something I'm really going to pay attention to, is things that are changing.
Oh, that's a good idea. I hope they'll do the same. Happy spring, everybody.
Happy spring. See you soon.